Simple steps, real-life strategy, beginner-friendly. Building your first $10,000 does not require becoming miserable, canceling your personality, or living like a financial monk for 2 years. What it does require is structure, because most people do not fail to reach their first $10,000 because they are lazy. They fail because they try to save randomly, emotionally, and without a system strong enough to survive normal life. And that first $10,000 matters more than people think. Not because it makes you rich, it does not, but because it changes your financial physics. It gives you breathing room, proof that you can build momentum, and a buffer between you and the kind of emergencies that usually reset people back to zero. Your first $10,000 is not a luxury milestone, it is a control milestone. The mistake beginners make is assuming this goal requires pain first and peace later. That mindset usually fails. If your saving plan makes you feel poor every day, you will eventually rebel against it. You do not need a punishment-based system. You need a system that works inside real life, with rent, stress, social plans, impulse moments, and inconsistent motivation. The goal is not maximum suffering. The goal is repeatability. Hey, I'm Kira. By the end of this video, you will understand how to build your first $10,000 with a strategy that is realistic, sustainable, and psychologically survivable. We are going to talk about the structure, the numbers, the mistakes that make people feel broke while saving, and the exact mindset shift that makes this goal feel possible instead of oppressive. Because the truth is simple, the first $10,000 is less about sacrifice than it is about design. Step 1. Stop treating $10,000 like one giant impossible number. Big goals become psychologically heavy when they stay abstract. Break it down. $10,000 in 2 years is about $417 a month. In 1 year, it is about $833. In 3 years, it is about $278. Same goal, different timeline, and once the number becomes a monthly target, it stops feeling mythical and starts becoming logistical. That step matters because overwhelm kills consistency. Most people do not need more motivation, they need a target small enough to repeat. If your current income makes $800 a month unrealistic, fine, then your timeline changes, not your identity. Stretching the timeline is not failure. Quitting because the original timeline bruised your ego, that is failure. Your first $10,000 does not care about pride. It cares about consistency. Step 2. Create the gap without making your life feel bleak. This is where people usually go wrong. They cut everything dramatic and visible, feel miserable, and then bounce back into overspending. Instead, focus on low-pain, high-impact cuts. Subscription leaks, delivery fees, convenience spending, impulse Amazon energy, rate negotiation. The silent categories that cost more than they feel. You are not trying to become joyless. You are trying to remove expensive, unconscious behavior. This is the key principle. Cut what you do not value, not everything that costs money. If a weekly coffee genuinely matters to you, keep it and cut the random things you barely notice. If dinners with friends are important, maybe the waste is happening in convenience apps and forgotten subscriptions instead. A saving plan feels less painful when it reflects your real values. People fail when they cut the visible pleasures and ignore the invisible leakage. Step 3. Automate the goal. This is non-negotiable. If saving $10,000 depends on remembering, deciding, or feeling disciplined every month, it will probably fail. Set an automatic transfer the day you get paid or the day after. Move the money into a separate high-yield savings account so it is not sitting in your checking account pretending to be available. Automation turns saving from a moral effort into a mechanical process. That is exactly what you want. And use a separate account for a reason. If the $10,000 fund lives in the same checking account as food, rent, and Friday night emotions, it will get mentally reclassified as spendable. Separation creates clarity. It also creates friction, and friction is useful when the goal is protecting progress from temporary moods. You do not need more willpower. You need fewer opportunities to sabotage yourself casually. Step 4. Make income growth part of the plan. This is where the goal stops feeling suffocating. If you only try to reach $10,000 by cutting, the journey gets emotionally narrow fast. But if you combine moderate cost control with a small increase in income, the process becomes much easier. A few extra hours of freelance work, selling unused things, one extra client, weekend shifts, side gigs, small service work, these can close the gap far faster than trying to optimize your groceries into oblivion. This is important because your first 10,000 is not just a saving challenge. It is a systems challenge. You are learning how to keep more, direct more, and increase more at the same time. That combination matters. People who only cut become tired. People who only earn more often inflate their lifestyle. The winning pattern is mixed. Reduce low-value leakage, automate the target, and create even a small income expansion to make the process feel lighter. Step 5. Do not make the process socially expensive. This is where feeling poor often enters. Beginners think saving means constantly saying no, disappearing from life, or explaining their money goals every weekend. That is unnecessary. You need substitution, not isolation. Cheaper hangouts, fewer expensive defaults, more planning, more honesty with yourself about what actually matters. You are not building 10,000 by becoming boring. You are building it by becoming intentional. Here is another mindset shift that helps a lot. Stop seeing the saved money as money you lost. It is money you move to your future side. That sounds small, but psychologically it matters. People resent saving when it feels like deprivation. They commit to saving much more easily when it feels like transfer. You are not deleting money from your life. You are relocating it to a part of your life that has not happened yet. And please do not wait for the perfect month to begin. There is no perfect month. There is only the month where you finally start. A lot of people waste half a year waiting for things to calm down, for expenses to normalize, for motivation to arrive, for the calendar to feel cleaner. Meanwhile, the habit never starts. Your first 10,000 will not be built by ideal conditions. It will be built by repeated action under imperfect ones. Let me give you the simplest practical formula. Pick your timeline. Divide 10,000 by the number of months. Automate that amount. Find 2 or 3 low-pain spending cuts. Add 1 small income increase. Put all windfalls, tax refunds, gifts, bonuses, random extra cash directly into the fund. That is the system. If you want this to feel even easier, track progress visually. Humans are much better at staying consistent when the goal is visible. Use a progress bar, a chart, a notes app, a savings tracker, whatever works. Watching 2,000 become 3, then 4, then 5 does something important to your brain. It turns saving from abstract discipline into visible momentum. And momentum is addictive in the best possible way. There is also a hidden benefit people underestimate. Once you build your first 10,000, the next financial goals get easier. Not because the math changes dramatically, but because you change. You become someone who can hold a long-term target, protect progress, and trust a process. That identity shift matters. Your first 10,000 is not just money in an account. It is evidence that you can build financial weight without chaos. So here is your move this week. Decide your timeline today. Open or label a separate savings account for the goal. Set 1 automatic transfer. Identify 3 low-value expenses to cut or reduce. Then choose 1 small way to earn a little more this month. That is enough to begin. You do not need a perfect plan. You need the first version of a working plan. Building your first 10,000 without feeling poor is absolutely possible, but only if you stop treating saving like punishment and start treating it like design. Break the number down. Protect what matters, cut what does not. Automate the process. Add a little more income. And let consistency do what drama never will. Subscribe if this helped, and I'll see you in the next video.